And it's also a great feedback tool. It allows me to sense where my toes are in relationship to each other. I can start working on actively spreading them out, curling them, placing them down individually, creating that good foot pressure all the way through. And then I can also work on some of my training here. What's up, team? Welcome back to another episode of Excellence in Motion. Myself and the team at NRG Physio love feet. And as crazy as that might sound, we think you should love your feet as much as we do. It's incredibly important for you as an athlete to take care of your feet and to use them in the way that they were designed to be used and to optimize their function so that you get the most out of them in general. Not just for your athletic performance, but also for your daily life. When it comes to foot basics, foot mechanics, how we take care of our feet, how we keep them healthy, moving and feeling great all the way around, it really starts with the type of shoes that we wear. I've got the Nano 11 right here in front of us as an example of an athletic shoe that is shaped more of the correct way for our feet as opposed to some of the other types of shoes that you might see on the market. The thing that I love so much about the Nano in general, as well as others like Innovate and Noble, a lot of those shoes really take on the idea of a toe box that allows your feet to spread out and actually have room to breathe. What you can see with this shoe is that the foot bed right there where the toe is, that toe box area, is a little bit more wide to allow your feet to sort of spread out and use the most of their available function. You look on the bottom side, you can see where that platform base kind of gives us all of that availability. And that's super important in a training shoe because it doesn't cram our feet together, turn off the arches, cram the toes together, and force us to have to use some of that gripping method to establish a stable base. And a lot of our lifts like front squats, back squats, any of our presses that go overhead, any of our Olympic lifts, we need to have a stable base for our foot in order to create adequate foot pressure for balance. But outside of the shoe, what do our feet look like when they're not being constrained? And if you're somebody who doesn't go barefoot when they're not in their shoes, that's something that I would encourage you to start doing a lot more often, because if you spend too much time in tight socks or not the right kind of socks, and you're not inside of a shoe that's going to allow you to breathe, the feet aren't really going to function the way that we want them to. So I'm a big fan of two different things for when you're not in shoes for keeping your feet healthy and functioning properly. I'm going to show you a couple of those today. The first one that I want to highlight is the toe spacer. I'm a huge fan of the toe spacer. This is a brand that specializes in not just the toe spacer itself, but also some other things that can help you with improving some of your foot health. But the idea around this, and it goes back all the way to, massage parlors and yogi studios, is that we're using the spacer to create that extra space in feet that might have been constrained or are forced into weird positions because of inadequate footwear. I have a history of playing soccer, and so you can imagine a tight soccer cleat kind of forcing my feet together really puts me in a position where my pinky toe starts to curve towards my big toe, and I even have a little bit of sort of that bunion shape going on. And for ladies especially, bunions are a big deal when your feet are sort of crammed together and not allowed to spread out like this. So the toe spacer is great because it gives me that extra availability for doing some of my stretches, bending the toes forward, planting out onto the outside of the feet, trying to work on that great toe extension with putting some of my body weight into that. And it's also a great feedback tool. It allows me to sense where my toes are in relationship to each other. I can start working on actively spreading them out, curling them, placing them down individually, creating that good foot pressure all the way through. And then I can also work on some of my training here. I can squat in the toe spacer. I can do some simple box dorsiflexion of the foot with the toe spacer on, trying to create that nice equal foot pressure, keeping my arch turned on, not letting my foot collapse underneath. It's a great tool. I'll leave a link to these in the description so you can pick up a pair if you want. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite things to use when I'm not in shoes. One of the most recent things, though, that I've started to implement into my daily life is toe socks. All right, the idea that we're in socks if we're not in shoes, or we have to have socks on when we wear shoes. We need to have some socks on that don't constrain our feet and don't force our feet into these bad shapes, and toe socks work perfectly for that. These are the NRG brand that you can pick them up off of Amazon. They're great because they allow a little bit of space and separation for your toes on an individual level that helps you to create that nice, flat, spread out base when you're inside of your shoe. Now, not all feet, just like not all socks, are created equal. My toes are kind of curved and a little bit messed up from past footwear, so it is a tad bit difficult to try to slide these on, and you really have to work at it to make sure everything fits inside of the holes where they're supposed to go. But the same idea as the toe spacers, with these types of socks on, you can still get in some of your mobility work through your ankle, practice that equal foot pressure, and do it all while you're inside of your training shoe. This stuff is super important. If you're not focusing on your feet, paying attention to how your feet function, you're missing a huge opportunity to improve your performance in whatever it is that you do, whether you're a softball player, basketball player, soccer player, or CrossFitter. Even if you're just hiking on the weekends and you love to go do the weekend warrior kind of thing, paying attention to the shoes that you wear, the socks that you wear, and how you're taking care of your feet when you're not training is really going to elevate the game for you. So if you enjoyed this stuff, please make sure to subscribe and like today's video. If you want to see more videos like these, you can just click on over here. And until next time, go out, do good things, and don't forget to move. I'll see you guys in the next video.